Hey, BookTube Sean here. I know it's been a few weeks, but I finally have the motivation to record and some time to do it. So I'm going to try and record a couple things tonight. This first thing that is coming at you, there will be a chat and catch-up video, but I really wanted to get this video out here earlier this week, and it didn't happen. But this is my TBR for the Books in the Freezer Readathon. You guys all know, I've talked about it many times, that I'm a big fan of the Books in the Freezer podcast. I'm a Patreon supporter, and so of course I'm going to participate in this readathon. Stephanie and Rachel are both good friends, and there's no way I wouldn't participate in this. I've been in a big reading slump the past probably close to 2 months. It's been going on. I haven't finished a book in I haven't finished an actual book in 2 months. I finished some graphic novels and a poetry collection last month, but nothing this month so far. But I'm feeling my mojo coming back. I'm feeling the motivation to read coming back. So I think I'm coming out of it, and I think it's going to be a good time to get back into reading with a genre I love. So let's get into it. There are 5 challenges for this readathon, and also I failed to mention this readathon is to celebrate the podcast's 1-year anniversary. And of course, I will link the podcast and Rachel and Stephanie's channels down below. They've both made announcement and recommendation videos. So if you need some recommendations, you can always check out the show notes of any of the podcasts and their recommendation videos. But the first challenge is to read a horror book by a female author. All the books I'm going to show you are from female authors. So that's actually a personal challenge I gave myself, was to do this with all female authors. Now, I'm not doing a different book for each challenge. There's 5 challenges. I know I won't read 5 books in 2 weeks, especially since I'm auditioning for a play. The day the readathon starts. It goes from October 1st to the 14th. So nice 2-week readathon, but there's no way I'm getting 5 books read in 2 weeks, when hopefully I'm going to be starting a rehearsal process for a play. But I did give myself the challenge. No matter how many books I picked, they were all going to be female authors. So challenge 1 is not an issue. Every book I'm going to show you will fit for that. So I've only picked 3 books, with 1 being an option. Book challenge 2 is read an anthology or short story collection. For that, I want to do The Corn Maiden and Other Nightmares by Joyce Carol Oates. You wouldn't normally think of Joyce Carol Oates as a horror author, but she has written a lot of dark stuff. And she delves into that realm, especially in her short story collections. God, you don't film for 3 weeks and you lose the ability to speak on camera. So The Corn Maiden and Other Nightmares is one of those. There's another one that's recently come out called The Dollhouse and Other Nightmares, which I have in my Kindle. But I'm going with The Corn Maiden and Other Nightmares for a reason that'll become apparent later. Number 3, challenge 3, is read a horror book with a POC or LGBTQ plus main character. For that, I have 2 options. My first option is My Soul to Keep by Tananarive Due, which is the first book in the African Immortals series. It's a vampire series that she has written. And my other option for that is The Ghost Bride by Yangzi Chu. Now, this isn't necessarily a traditional horror novel, but it's horror related, and Stephanie recommended it in her recommendations video. Both of these books will be POC main characters. But when she described this book, it sounded really cool to me. So I actually ordered it off of Amazon that day. And then Carla at Carla's Book Bits commented that she really liked the book, and so those are two opinions I hold in high esteem. So I went ahead and ordered it day of. So I'm just going to read you the back real quick. Malaya, 1893. Li Lan, the daughter of a genteel but bankrupt Chinese family, has few prospects, but fate intervenes when she receives a proposal from the wealthy and powerful Lim family. They want her to become a ghost bride for the family's only son, who died under mysterious circumstances. Rarely practiced, ghost marriages are often meant to placate a restless spirit. Such a union would guarantee Li Lan a comfortable home for the rest of her days, but at what cost? As she reluctantly considers the offer, Li Lan is unwillingly drawn into the shadowy parallel world of the Chinese afterlife, with its ghost cities and vengeful spirits. There, Li Lan must uncover the Lim family's darkest secrets and the truth about her own family before she is trapped in this ghostly world forever. So more speculative fiction than horror, but definitely with supernatural ties that kind of pull it into the horror realm a little bit. So, but yeah, that sounds really good. So I'm probably going to go with My Soul to Keep it more traditional horror, but I wanted to have this one in there as an option in case I'm more in the mood for this when the time comes. I'm going to be reading other books at the time too, not just readathon books, because I can't just focus on one thing. The fourth challenge is read a horror book that has a movie adaptation. Now, I was planning to read this book in October anyway. When Stephanie told me that there was going to be a readathon, she posted actually in the Patreon group chat for the podcast that if they were going to do a readathon, would people participate? And I said, as long as I can read this book, and as long as this book will fit a challenge, and it would. So it actually fits a couple of challenges. So my book that has a horror movie adaptation, and what I was originally going to just pick for a female author, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I've never read this book. I used to read Dracula. You've heard me talk about this. I used to read Dracula every year during October. I've never read Frankenstein, and I've been seeing and getting a lot of Frankenstein-related stuff lately. I went to a play in late June, early July that a local playwright wrote, who we're friends with, and it was a Frankenstein-related play. It covered in a period of time that is left open in the book, from what he said. And but his play was called The Gravedigger. Playwright's name is Joseph Zettelmeyer, and his play dealt with the monster befriending a gravedigger who was a gravedigger who ended up supplying Victor Frankenstein with a lot of the parts for the monster before Victor Frankenstein finds the monster again. So it covers a period of time between the monster disappearing and Victor Frankenstein finding him again. But I've never read the book. So I thought about making October a month of Frankenstein stuff. Because I have this, I have Frankenstein in Baghdad, I have Pride and Prometheus by John Kessel. So I was just going to do a bunch of Frankenstein-related stuff in October. But especially once I fell into my reading slump, I knew doing something like that wasn't going to work. But this will fit. Read a horror book that has a movie adaptation. There are multiple different adaptations of Frankenstein. And it also obviously fits read a horror book by a female author. And 5, read a book we've recommended on the podcast, and for that I am using The Corn Maiden and Other Nightmares. That is why I chose that collection as opposed to the newer one. I think it's called I think I said it right, The Doll's House and Other Nightmares, or one of her other ones that are very horror themed, because Christy DeMeester recommended that one on the episode that was their interview with Christy DeMeester. So that's it. That's my selections for the Books in the Freezer Readathon. Again, that runs from October 1st to October 14th. Hosted by Stephanie at That's What She Read and Rachel at the Shades of Orange, who are the hosts of the podcast. I'll link all the information in the description box. Let me know, guys, if you excuse me, if you plan on participating in this readathon and what you're reading. Link me your TBR videos if you have them. I'll pull them out of the spam filter. So yeah, I want to see them. I'm trying to see everybody who posts a TBR video for this. I want to see what people are reading. I'm excited about this readathon. Anyway, that is it for this video. I have more coming. I'm back after a few weeks hiatus. Things to talk about, and you know, from my last video. Anyway, that's it. Completely blanked on how I end these videos. Thank you to all my subscribers. If this is your first time watching me, thank you. I hope you liked it, and I hope you stick around. If you want to stick around, hit the subscribe button so you'll be sure to know when I post new videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.